Hey guys, am I son of a bitch? In the vast world of video games, there's no doubt that taking your time is everything. Video games take a hell of a long time to develop, and when they come out, more often than not, it often feels satisfying. One notable example of this is Pizza Tower, a game that started development all the way back in 2018. Pizza Tower started development by lead designer Mick Pig around half a decade ago. The game has often been noted as a sort of spiritual successor to the Wario Land games, most notably being compared to Wario Land 4 for the iconic hurry-up mechanic found in that game, where the player must run through the entire level backwards in order to clear it. The first demo for Pizza Tower went up back in September of 2018, and eventually a Patreon for the game was made in December of 2018, where donors could playtest various demos of Pizza Tower. Eventually, 3 public demos were released, one for Sage 2019, one for Halloween titled Noises Hardoween, and a Christmas demo called Peppino's Xmas Break. After that, and a couple more Patreon exclusive demos, Pizza Tower finally released fully to the public on January 26, 2023. When Pizza Tower was released to the public, the game was met with so much praise, so much so that as of writing this script, the game nearly has 6,000 reviews and an overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam. I would ask if it's worth the rating, but knowing me, you'd probably know what the answer is. But if you're unaware, then I think it's time we take a look at Pizza Tower, an indie game that took the internet by storm. Pizza Tower has a very basic story to understand. Peppino Spaghetti is a paranoid pizza chef who works at his own pizzeria known as Peppino's Pizza. One fateful day, a floating pizza known as Pizza Face arrives and threatens to blow up Peppino's pizzeria with a laser from a cannon that's on top of a tower. Hearing about this, Peppino takes no time rushing toward the tower to stop this plan, and that's basically the intro to Pizza Tower summed up in a nutshell. Insane, right? It's basic, but for what it's worth, it's crazy, and damn it, I am all in for it. Pizza Tower is a very, very hectic game. Everything from the art style and animations to the extremely high speeds that you'll often find yourself going in this game to achieve something. This game makes no sense, but it also makes a lot of sense at the same time. It even has Mort the freaking chicken in this game. If anybody even remembers that game, I sure don't. But I don't mind because it's really cool, and it's a really cool reference. Actually, the Pizza Tower devs actually asked the guy who made Mort the Chicken if they could use him in the game, and the guy who made the funny chicken character accepted the deal. That's cool too. As I've stated before, Pizza Tower is a very, very hectic game, and with a hectic game also comes hectic gameplay. Its gameplay is very similar to that as the Wario Land series, specifically calling back to mostly Wario Land 2 and 4, but on steroids. So basically, whereas Wario Land 4 has you running through levels, Pizza Tower will have you running everywhere, slipping on banana peels, riding on corpses, even running from animatronics trying to kill you, and that's just the tip of the iceberg on what you can do in this game. Pizza Tower comes with its own movement for not only Peppino, but also another character, or specifically 2 characters, Gustavo and Brick. There's so much you can utilize with your moveset: jumping, grabbing, running, wall jumping, wall climbing, uppercutting, taunting, super taunting, parrying, breakdancing. Yes, these are all moves you have to master throughout the game in order to do good, which then all culminates into the cream of the crop for this game. When you get to the end of the level, you will encounter Pillar John, and when you destroy him, pizza time starts.
Hello there.
So what is pizza time? Pizza time in this game is the equivalent of the hurry-up mechanic in Wario Land 4, except the stakes are higher and you're now traveling at a much more ludicrous speed. Not only this, but when you activate pizza time, all the John blocks in the area will switch up a bit, so when a John block is deactivated, it'll activate, making for some more unique level outcomes. However, if you were to go back into a level you've beaten before, you'll see this pizza portal appear with lap 2 on it. If you enter it during pizza time, you will go back to the beginning of the pizza time sequence, but the timer will not change, forcing you to go back into the very limited time you have left. However, this is the only way you're able to get the elusive P rank, which I have yet to do in this game, because as much as I love this game, I suck at doing second laps. Yes, in Pizza Tower there are different ranks, each consisting of D to P, with D being the worst and P being the best. In order to P rank a level, you must get the secret treasure with the help of Jerome, get all 3 secrets and all 5 toppins in the level, and keep a consecutive combo throughout the entire level, which will then grant you access to the P rank. Pizza Tower's gameplay is very, very frantic, and you know what? I am all for it. It might seem intimidating at first, but when you eventually clear a world or 2, You'll eventually become more familiar with the moveset and actually manage to do well. In total, Pizza Tower has around 5 different floors, each with their own unique theming. With 20 levels, it'd be really hard to judge them all, so I thought it'd be cool to talk about my favorite level from each floor. I won't necessarily be counting boss levels since those are completely different levels as a whole. Yeah. So with that said, let's start off with Floor 1 was probably hard to choose from since the levels pretty much have the same castle aesthetic, but I essentially settled on Bloodsauce Dungeon being the best level on this floor. This level is just honestly my favorite of the bunch. There's lava pits that, when jumped into, send you flying into the air, damaging enemies unlike other games that are in your way. Honestly, out of all the levels here, this might be the most uninteresting of my favorite levels I've chosen, but it's still the best from Floor 1. Waste Yard is a level I've come to appreciate more and more honestly. The level has so much to it, the music is a banger, and I love the graveyard theming present in this level. Getting to turn into a ghost and float around everywhere was also cool, and the chase sequence is unique as well. You're running from the pillar you bashed your skull into mere seconds ago, and if you touch him, you get sent back to the beginning of the room. While it is an inconvenience, it's still a really cool touch to the level and I love it. Probably one of my favorite levels in the entire game even. Crust Cove, a level that's also pretty cool. There's a pirate goblin that shoots cannonballs at you, you get the opportunity to roll around in a barrel, which is also cool. Which is all I can say, but don't get me wrong, this level is still cool, it's just that it's hard to explain to be honest. Also there's pineapples who taunt when you taunt, and that's also pretty cool, and that's why it's my favorite level. Floor 4 was honestly hard to choose from if I'm being honest, but I think the most unique one and my personal favorite of the bunch would be Refrigerator, Freezerator, an ice level that consists of ice, and even more ice. Nah, but this level's escape sequence is really fun. Basically, Peppino manages to eat a Satan's Choice pizza, which allows him to fly around the stage, destroying ice blocks and accessing areas that he couldn't manage to reach before, and that's honestly really cool. With Floor 5 only having 3 main levels, I think it was safe to say that Don't Make a Sound was my favorite level of the bunch. I keep saying this about each of the levels, but this one is really unique in a cool way. It's like FNAF, but you're sneaking around some sort of Chuck E. Cheese-like place, and if you get caught, you'll get a jump scare and will be turned into an animatronic. They don't tell you this, but as you're an animatronic, you also lose points progressively. I won't lie, I really enjoyed this level, that I even managed to clear it while not getting jump scared at all. It only took me a few tries, but that's okay. What makes it even better is that at the end of the level, before pizza time, you get a shotgun to shoot everything in your path, making this all the more satisfying to play. I may even say that this is probably my favorite level in the entire game because of how different it is from the other levels. Just a brief heads up, we are entering spoiler territory as this is the final part of the game, so if you don't want to get spoiled by anything, please skip to this time frame. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get into the final part of this game. After you manage to rack up enough money for the final boss door, it's finally time to face Pizza Face himself. Pizza Face himself is pretty easy to take on, you just throw enemies at him as he's just floating around. And then, holy shit, you realize that it's actually not Pizza Face but a completely separate character by the name of Pizza Head. Basically this boss fight is pretty simple. You take on 3 phases of the boss, the first being Pizza Face as mentioned before, but then you get Pizza Head, one of the best final boss battles in my opinion. It is insane and all over the place, and I am all for it. In the 3rd phase, Pizza Head manages to grab all the bosses you've faced before, and Peppino absolutely loses it. Whereas other bosses let you face the bosses one by one before or after the final boss, no, this is the final boss, and it is satisfying as hell. Getting to punch the bosses you've fought before, the bosses who've caused you tons of trouble, this actually feels satisfying and I love it. And finally, when you've taken care of Pizza Head for the last time, you get one of the best moments in the entire game. Peppino grabs Pizza Head by the head and proceeds to dive back down to the tower, and thus ends the game entirely. But wait, there's more! When you finally manage to beat the final boss, you have one last pizza time sequence to get through. And my god, this might be one of the best escape sequences I have ever played in this game. Not only do you escape with your colleagues, you also get to escape with other bosses you had beaten senselessly mere minutes ago. And also worth the chicken too. This is probably the most satisfying sequence in any game I've ever played. Getting to collect all the bosses from before and running through the tower before it all falls down feels sorta nice. It feels like your hard work has finally paid off, and before you know it, Pizza Tower is complete. And the credits roll. Oh yeah, spoilers are done if you're wondering. Pizza Tower might not only just be my personal favorite game of the year so far, but also probably my favorite game of all time. The game is fast paced, its animation is superb, the controls actually feel well to control. It's just all around a great game in general. I would say this game takes the Wario Land formula and cranks it up by 100% to the speed chart. To think this game started development nearly half a decade ago is insane. It's an insane game to play and I love it for that. It was definitely worth the wait after all this time. If you haven't yet, definitely give Pizza Tower a try. It's only $20 on Steam and for what it's worth, it's all around a fun time. Also shoutouts to Anton Blast, another Wario-like that's releasing soon. I don't know why I mentioned Anton Blast. I mean, Peppino was an Anton Ball Deluxe as an unlockable, so there's that. 2023, year of the Wario-likes. Can we make it happen?